Silver just had its best week in months, up nearly 6.5%. But here's what most people don't see. Precious metals are sending a quiet signal about what investors are actually worried about. Let's find out what it means for you. Let's start with the indices. So the Nasdaq had a bit of a rough day, down 0.8% to close at 25,832. Now, that's not a huge move, but it does snap a nice little winning streak. The good news? Look at the weekly picture. You're still up 1.87% since Monday. So yeah, we had some profit taking today, but the week's still solidly green. Tech volatility on a Friday before a holiday weekend. It happens. The Dow, on the other hand, had a completely different vibe. Up 1.14% today to 52,900, a nice solid close heading into the long weekend. Weekly gain of 1.89%. Here's the interesting part. While the Nasdaq pulled back, the Dow actually moved higher. That's a slight divergence. It suggests money might have rotated out of growth tech and into more traditional, defensive blue-chip names. Not a red flag, just something to keep an eye on. Now here are the top movers of the day. KLA Corporation got hammered today, down 11.51% to 235.55. That's a big one. On the week, you're down 8.98%. This is a semiconductor equipment maker, and the chip sector had some selling pressure today. Likely a mix of profit-taking after a strong run and maybe some concerns about equipment demand if chip orders soften. KLA's a bellwether for the semiconductor industry, so when it moves like this, traders take notice. LRCX Technologies had it just as rough, down 10.19% today to 351.41, and down 12.55% on the week. That's 2 weeks of pain for semiconductor equipment players. Similar story to KLA, this is sector-wide weakness in chip manufacturing tools. When both of these names sell off this hard, it's sending a message that people are worried about the next leg of demand for semiconductors. Worth watching closely. Tesla, down 7.49% today to 393.45. Now, Tesla's had a decent week overall, up 4.89% for the week. So today's pullback is just noise in a broader uptrend. Could be profit-taking, could be macro uncertainty, could be someone reshuffling their portfolio before the long weekend. Tesla stock is so heavily traded that daily moves like this don't always mean much. The weekly trend is what matters here, and that's still positive. Vertex Pharmaceuticals, this is your feel-good story today. Up 6.03% to 528.04 and up 9.97% on the week. Biotech had a solid week, and Vertex is a leader in the space. Could be positive drug trial data, could be rotation into healthcare as a defensive play, or could just be solid earnings expectations. Either way, this is a stock with momentum right now. And finally, S&P Global, up 6.01% today to 439.89. But the real story? Up 17.67% on the week. That's massive. S&P Global is an index and data company, and this kind of move signals that investors are confident in the economy and financial markets. They're buying data, buying analytics, buying the infrastructure that powers trading and investing. It's a bullish signal wrapped in a... Now let us look at energy and fuel. Crude oil barely moved today, up just 0.13% to 68.78 a barrel. But zoom out to the week, and you're actually down 0.65%. Supply and demand are pretty balanced right now. No major geopolitical shocks. OPEC's production remains stable, and demand has cooled slightly as we head into summer. Oil's in a holding pattern. Natural gas, though, that's a different story. Up 1.25% today to 3.24 per MMBTU and up 0.31% on the week. Summer heat is ramping up across the country, which means air conditioning demand is pushing storage lower. That's supporting prices. Watch this one if the heat wave continues into next week. Moving on to metals. Gold is doing what gold does when people get nervous. Up 1.81% today to 4,187.30 per ounce. And get this, up 2.66% for the week. Silver's even stronger, but we'll get to that in a second. Gold's climbing because investors are hedging uncertainty. Could be inflation fears. Could be macro concerns heading into next week's economic data. Either way, safe haven demand is real right now. Silver. Okay, this one's a star today. Up 3.58% just today, and absolutely crushing it on the week at up 6.06%. Silver tends to follow gold, but it's moving faster and harder. That tells us two things. One, safe haven demand is genuinely strong. Two, industrial demand for silver might be creeping back as people get more optimistic about manufacturing. Silver's the Goldilocks metal. Not too safe, not too risky. And finally, let us look at tomorrow. All right, here's what's coming. Monday, we've got a big day of economic data, PMI numbers in the morning, then the ISM non-manufacturing report at 10 a.m. That's a high-impact release. We're also getting a Fed speaker, William Waller, which could move markets if he drops any hints about rate policy. And we've got some positioning data from the CFTC on crude and gold speculators. Bottom line, Monday's not a sleepy holiday session. Data matters, Fed speakers matter, and positioning data matters. Watch for the PMI and ISM prints. If they come in hot, we might see inflation fears spike again. If they're soft, that's a signal the economy's cooling. Either way, you'll want to be paying attention to how the market reacts. We'll break it all down for you on Monday. Have a great holiday weekend. For your daily market update video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification.